what we will do is this, man. We're going to pay some bills.
Sure.
And the best way to do that is to talk about our good friends over at Manscaped. You know Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming, right? I mean, the people that created the Lawnmower 4.0. I mean, we're talking about the originators of the Crop Reviver. I'm talking about the Ball Refresher. I mean, dude, they have everything that you need when it comes to your delicate twins that dangle. They have what you need. And when I think of the summer, as we're already in the heart of, right? It's July. You know when July is hot. In fact, sometimes people call it Big Deke energy. Others refer to it as hot guy summer. Okay. But whatever it is, you need to perform at a high level. And the best way to do that is to get the Performance Package 4.0. Has that Lawnmower 4.0 that we were talking about. You like Deke stash, right? Okay. You Manscaped has a light on it. You can't miss this thing, all right? You can't miss. I already talked about the Crop Reviver, the Ball Refresher, along with the super comfy Manscaped boxer briefs and a cool little carrying bag. You can't go wrong with this thing, man. But more importantly, as we always say, Deke, if we're going to talk about a company, what's our rule? We said we got a rule, right? It's something like we got to be giving away promo. It's something like that, right?
Yeah.
We got
to be a good deal for all parties involved.
All parties, right? Not just us. Because if it's just us, that's selfish. So it's not just us. For all parties involved. So with that being said, we got a promo code, ladies and gentlemen. If you use the promo code MOATS, you receive 20% off along with free shipping. You can't beat that. Your delicate twins can't beat that. All of those areas that you might want to groom. Okay, we talk about that performance package. It has the weed whacker in there for them nostril hairs and those ear hairs. You cannot beat that. All right? Just make sure you check out Manscaped, man, and show them some love. And we got to go to this last topic, though.
I think so.
I think that's where we're at right now,
I'm definitely ready, yeah.
All right, now this last one, this is different for us, man. We usually don't talk baseball. We usually don't talk Pirates. But it's different right now for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the dawn of a new era. The first draft under new direction, under a new general manager. Shout out to Ben Charrington. So when I think of that, I said to myself, we got to give them an opportunity. There were times where we didn't really doubt the Pens, but we didn't really cover the Pens. And we said, we're going to give this opportunity. We're going to start dabbling into that a little bit. So we said, you know what? Why not hop on a little bit right here, man? Number one draft pick, number one overall draft pick, which is insane, right? But I said, man, this is pretty exciting to talk about. So we're going to give it its just due. And in terms of when he says too small to play outside, the guy was talking about Devin Bush being an outside linebacker.
Okay, so no one in college.
Yes. And I'm sure he wasn't saying Bish. He was probably saying Bush and just misspelled it. Bush too small to play outside. But it came out as Bish too small. That I mean, when you think about it, though, one misspell, one letter out of place, it changed the whole context of it. Bush too small to be outside sounds way nicer. It's like, oh yeah, I can.
Than just a random that. D3 college athlete.
Is Bish too small outside? Like, dang, bro, why it's gotta be that?
We just want to give him a couple bucks.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what? So that is definitely good to know that, it's just Bush. It's okay. Bush, not Bish. Bush. All right. So now we're good.
Either way, funnier thinking it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was funnier thinking it was the other way.
I like it the other way personally. It just seemed more aggressive.
Yeah.
But no, man, this is dope though, man. Number one, I'm excited about Henry Davis. From everything that I read, great at the bat, man. They said that's where he's really improved. He really had giant strides that last season in Louisville. And obviously, man, we know in terms of catchers, we don't have a ton of those guys in the system right now, man. He's a guy that's going to be able to come in, and of the bunch, we expect him to be able to contribute a lot sooner than these other guys. Some of these other guys are on 5-year plans.
High school.
With Henry, right? With Henry, it should be 2-3 years max. So that to me, I like a lot just because he's already coming from that college atmosphere right there, man.
Yeah, so I got a few things I'm interested in this. Mm-hmm. I mean, one obviously was picking Henry Davis over the consensus one. They were saying Mayer, even one of the pitchers.
The funny thing, though,
but I'm good with it. I'm honestly good with it.
Well, because I kept saying that it wasn't a consensus one. They were saying that at times Henry was viewed as the one, at times Mayer was viewed as the one, and at times was it Leiter? That's how you pronounce his name. Mm-hmm. He was viewed as the one as well. It was crazy this year, man.
I think a lot of people had him as the number one prospect, not necessarily that you would take him number one. It was, like we said before, it wasn't the Bryce Harper thing. Wow, this guy's going to be a surefire next generation type of talent. But us taking the catcher, I think it's good just because of everyone else that we have in the pipeline. The other thing, though, is a lot of people are praising us for the next 3 picks that we had.
Yes, and I absolutely love the next 3 picks because when you talk about the budget, right? We know for the Pirates this year, and the way the draft works in MLB, they get an allotment of money to sign their draft picks. So for the Pirates, they have $14 million available to sign however many draft picks they wanted to sign. Now, we know they had 20 rounds worth of picks, but they don't plan on signing all 20 rounds worth of picks. That's not how it works. It's very different than like an NFL draft where, all right, we know we're drafting these guys. All these guys are guaranteed to be on this roster. They're going to have contracts. With baseball, it's not even a guarantee that these guys are all going to sign. Sometimes your top guys don't even sign. So from everything that I've heard, though, talking with different baseball analysts and the beat writers that follow the Pirates and stuff like that, from all reports, they do feel that their top 4 picks in terms of,
I got the names.
Yeah, in terms of Henry Davis, Anthony Solomito, was it Lonnie White,
White Jr.
and the kid from Clemson,
Big Bubba,
Bubba Chandler. They said that all 4 of those guys are more than likely going to be signed. And Bubba definitely confirmed his right away. And it was interesting because with Bubba, he's a 3-star recruit. He actually committed to go to Clemson.
Yeah.
And Lonnie is a 4-star wide receiver who committed to go to Penn State. So it was interesting to see, like, would they choose the college football route over the MLB route. And from a money standpoint for Lonnie, for him to go and play baseball right now, he's looking at about $1.4 million, but that's going to be guaranteed to him as soon as he signs. Whereas obviously with football, he's going to have to wait a couple years for the opportunity to get to the NFL. Yeah, you don't even know if you're going to start. Right.
That was the thing that was interesting to me, though. It seemed like it was a guarantee that these guys are going to sign and play. And like you said with Bubba, that's a big risk sometimes.
It is,
man.
absolutely.
But I guess they did their due diligence. As long as these dudes sign and they're committed throughout the farm system and stuff, I'm 100% good with it because it seemed like we got top 32 talent in all those 4 picks.
We definitely did.
Which is why it was good to take the catcher first because we don't have to allot so much money. We can allot the money to these other 3 guys.
Absolutely, man. And it looks like that Henry is actually going to sign for a little bit less than his slotted amount because the slotted amount was
hometown discount.
Yeah, the slotted amount was supposed to be like $8 million. They say he's going to sign probably around like at that 6 mark, which is huge because it gives you more flexibility to get some of these other guys under contract. But knowing that a guy like Lonnie, that was the big question mark was, is he going to go to Penn State for football with him being a 4-star recruit, or would he commit and go ahead and play this baseball route? I don't fault him, though, for going the baseball route because you are in the driver's seat. If he can hit, he controls his destiny.
He can go back and play football, too.
I mean, Brandon Whedon did it. I mean, guys have done it. Absolutely.
He's like 27
Chris
years old.
Chris Winkie did it as well. Yeah, he was another guy. But when I think of Lonnie, I'm like, if he plays well in the field and he can hit, he controls his destiny. It's not dependent on somebody else. Whereas at Penn State, it's dependent on the quarterback, it's dependent on the coach, the coordinators, it's dependent on what the O-line can protect. I mean, it's a lot more variables that have to go right for him, along with the way higher injury risk that he has playing football compared to playing baseball as well, man.
The interesting thing now, though, is if you're like a Kyler Murray coming out of high school.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he did end up taking the football route, but did he get drafted while he was in college? It's not like he was getting drafted coming out of high school.
It was
but like, say you're a top prospect in both sports coming out in high school. If you're the quarterback or something like that, now with the college football stuff with this image and likeness, you could make up the money that you might be forfeiting in baseball. I don't know to that degree.
Because we talk.
But you could get pretty damn close, and football. If you make it to the NFL. Actually, here's the thing. Here's my thing. I think it's harder to become a great star in baseball, but the money's better there, and the long-term health for you is better. I also
feel like,
but once you get once you just make the NFL, if you're drafted first or second round, the money I think is a little bit better, and I think you could still have a pretty solid career. You just have to be a star in baseball to get that like massive contract.
This is the thing. I feel like you can be average in baseball and you'll make $30-40 million compared to if you're average in football.
I just think it's harder to make the league, though. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's way harder to make the league, but you're going to make way more money if you can get to the league. Whereas with football, I feel like it's way harder of a process, too, to get there and stay there And the money is, I mean, well, I don't know, bro. Because the pool of people for baseball is way larger too.
That's what I mean. You got to go through the farm system. How much more politics maybe you got to pay attention to in baseball then?
Yeah.
Whereas football, I'm sure there is politics, but it's just like stud in college, get to the pros, you can sign maybe a decent contract.
True.
Because that's what Kyler Murray ultimately did end up deciding. Russell Wilson ended up deciding too for the NFL.
But I don't think Russell was as high of a draft pick though as those other guys though.
That's the
Kyler
thing.
was a number 1 overall pick. Like that's or first round pick with the Athletic, excuse me. So that's significant. That's 8, 9. Like we're in that range, right? In terms of money we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. He still went football, and I think. Yeah, that's the thing. They're probably, if you're going to be in high school, you're going to have to decide or make maybe even a tougher decision earlier.
Yeah.
Because you're almost projecting your college football career and also projecting your baseball career.
Yeah.
Money's immediate in baseball, but now with the image and likeness, now maybe that's not the biggest thing you're concerned about.
I just don't think, though, that a high school or a college kid is going to make more money in an endorsement than he will with the actual professional contract. For
Unless
those,
that's what I mean. If you're a stud,
like,
for these guys,
that's
probably not.
Yeah.
If you're a stud, though.
Like Kyler Murray, you think that he would have a multi-million-dollar endorsement right now?
In college?
Yeah. Like I don't think he would have. I think he would get like 6 figures, yes. But
at least. Maybe $1 million, maybe close.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was tough for him.
Even if it's $1 million, that's still way less than like contract money for him though. That's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking about studs because like these guys, maybe they're making the right decision because if they're 3 or 4 star, but if you're 5 star in both, that's where the decision gets a little bit dicier.
So what's your overall perception though of the organization's direction right now?
You do what you got to do. I feel like at this point, I'm starting to trust this guy.
He's showing signs. Like he knocked the draft out the park. You look at all the reports about this draft for the Pirates, and everyone says they won the draft. This is the best draft, and it should be that way, right? They had the most money. They were picking number 1. They should do that. So I'm with you. I feel like I could trust him a little bit right there.
Starting to trust it. His track record for other rebuild processes speaks for itself too. The main concern I have is definitely the ownership because we can have all these great prospects. They could be going through the system. We can also maybe in 3 or 4 years have another great McCutcheon-like run with the Pirates for 3-4 seasons where we're, going into divisional playoffs. We actually have a chance to make the World Series. But if we start losing these guys, what's it going to matter?
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. So it's going to be in 3-4 years. Like if we're actually good, can we sustain this?
With those guys, those will be the next wave of guys. And I think the only people that we'll probably see that are stars now playing with those guys is Brian Reynolds, honestly.
Maybe.
And that's if they can get a deal done with him. But with that scenario, they're going to have to pay him more. They're going to have to overpay a little bit because you're cutting into his years of being able to be free and negotiate whatever he wants to negotiate. Adam Frazier, as much as I want him to stay here, as much as, us as fans are excited
the old saying,
about
you're
him.
Still losing with him.
But the thing is this, though. The reason why they're talking about trading him is because, number 1, his value is crazy high. But number 2, they have a guy in the feeder system that is supposed to be a better version. They're supposed to be one of those guys that could be a 30 homer a year type of guy as well.
Yeah, because Frazier isn't a power hitter.
Right, but they're saying that this second baseman that's in the feeder system is supposed to be the guy. And it's like, essentially, if you extend Frazier, you're going to be holding back this other kid right here. So that's the thing that I'm interested to see. Now, they said that this kid is supposed to be very close. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
It's not Castro, is it? We just called him out, Rodolfo Castro.
It's not. I don't feel like it's him. I wish I could remember the name.
They got O'Neal Cruz. They're saying he's probably the best.
It might be Cruz.
He plays shortstop.
Because he's the one that's 6'7", right? That's the big cat.
I wish I knew.
I feel like Cruz the big cat, but
I could look up top prospects.
That's the thing though with Frazier. That's why they're ultimately saying that they're trying to move him, and they will move him before the trade deadline, which is at the end of the month, the 30th.
The thing that Reynolds has in his favor too is he's 26, Frazier's 29, so that goes back to your timeline thing. If we could really bounce back in 2 or 3 years, Reynolds could still be in his prime.
Right. Whereas with Frazier, we know that this is peak Frazier. You know what I mean? Maybe another year of this, but
Nick Gonzalez. I think we drafted him last year.
Yeah. That's the guy right there. The
Nick Gonzalez. They got him at second base.
Mhm.
O'Neal Cruz, shortstop, number 3 in the system.
Yeah, because that's the big. How big is Cruz? He's like 6'7", right? That's the big cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
210.
Yeah, because they were saying that they don't know if he's going to be able to stay at shortstop, at the majors, just because,
they were mentioning right field for him, too.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Yep.
Hudson Head, outfielder. Olivier Peguero, another shortstop. So maybe he could be the shortstop. We move Cruz to the right field.
So we have some options. We got some flexibility.
But that's why we didn't take a shortstop right there. We got 2 top 4 guys in our system, and everyone's praising our farm system right now as it is.
And if you take one of those shortstops that are in high school, we're looking at like I said, a 5-year window before we even get those guys up here. So all of that plays into it.
They're saying Gonzalez already, ETA 2022.
I can see it.
Everyone else are saying that's 2023.
That's the dude, though. He's nice, man.
Travis Swaggerty, they're saying 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are just names, though. Nick Gonzalez, then I guess that's the guy. I think
as a whole, man, I do feel like my trust in Ben Chernin is growing. We've seen him make some good things happen so far. This draft was really good. I like that. I don't know if he inspired Frazier to play well and Brian Reynolds to play well, but they're playing well. I like that also. I'm going to be sad whenever they move Rich Rodriguez as well, though. But he's the other guy he's going to get moved, man.
Well, Brian Hayes will definitely be a part of this team. He'll be playing third base. Like we could have a nice little lineup here.
Yeah.
Now,
it's just frustrating because you can see like remnants of like, they might be good if they can keep these players, but the timing is going to be off with the guys that are good right now, which is the biggest reason why they have to trade these players. But that's why I wanted to talk, because I was like, I feel like the perception is different though right now. I don't feel like it's the same as it was a year or two ago, where we're just feeling like, but we're just getting rid of people that are good because we don't want to pay them. I don't feel like that's the case right now.
I'm hoping not. That's the thing. We're going to have to see in 3 or 4 years. Because if we are good and then we start letting people go, that's going to be the problem. And I'm not even saying, like, getting rid of McCutchen, I think it was a good move. It ultimately was. Everyone was pissed off about it, but he's had his worst years ever since we traded. Like, he would not have been worth the money. Now, there's other guys. Josh Bell's been having a down year, so maybe we secretly got rid of these dudes at the right time. But it's just frustrating because we could have stayed relevant at least keeping these dudes. And
it's frustrating when you look at other teams having success with your players.
Well, straight up, Garrett Cole. I mean, he had one season like that for the Pirates, but his last couple seasons, he's not what he is right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the best pitchers in the league.
Very true.
People are having legitimate conversations about whether keeping Cole or not.
Yeah.
Like, if we had Cole right now as he is, that wouldn't even be a conversation. Right. He wasn't like that. So it just sucks that it happens sometimes. You get rid of a dude. It just seems like it always happens with the Pirates. That's the unfortunate part. Yes. They don't sometimes have their best seasons. You see the flashes with the Pirates. Like, oh, man, he's got talent. We get rid of him, and they just go off with someone else.
Star somewhere. Like, oh, you're in Tampa now, killing it. Why?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
That's how it goes, though, man. Hey, but the All-Star jerseys, what are your thoughts on them?
Nah.
Fan? No?
No, I actually wish. I don't know if they.
I liked them a little bit. I thought that it was more fashion forward. I thought it was more modern, more of like our generation. I think for me though, the chest part, like the vertical lettering, I wasn't a fan of that. Although I thought the logo kind of got hidden a little bit, but I didn't hate it. I felt like a lot of people were actually hating these uniforms yesterday, man.
No, there's nothing to hate about them, but I liked whenever the players just wore their team jerseys for the All-Star game.
Yeah,
that's what I liked. Too. And I think
that's the old like NBA thing too, man.
Right. Yeah. The Home Run Derby is when they used to wear their All-Star team jersey. I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. I don't know what they were wearing.
Oh.
If they wore their All-Star jerseys or their team jerseys.
Their All-Star jerseys on in that.
That's what I'm
thinking of like the Pete Alonso picture, but I just keep thinking of like them showing his face with the Mets head on after him winning. I don't even like remember the outfit. But did you know the story about that? Like how he's made more money winning the Home Run Derby than he actually makes on his contract right now.
No.
It's nuts, bro. Yeah.
How's that happen?
Well, because basically like the contract that he signed was, I mean, it was a rookie deal. It was small money for him. And he hasn't signed his new deal just yet, but he gets $1 million every time he wins the Home Run Derby. He's won it back-to-back years. So his career earnings right now are $3 million.
Okay.
But $2 million have come on back-to-back years. It's nuts.
Yeah. So he's probably due then for his big
absolutely,
contract.
Man. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish they went back to like you said with the NBA, they wore their actual team jerseys, and same with the MLB. Just wear your team jerseys. Maybe throw the All-Star wherever city you're at, whatever the patch is for that specific year. Throw that on the jersey somewhere, but just rock the normal team jerseys. Yeah. That's my thing.
Well, now let me see, man. Let's see what the people are saying in the chat about it too, man. Oh, Still a Nation on Fire says Andrew McCutchen was one of the Pirates' best players, and then he also talks about remembering Neil Walker.
He won an MVP.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And he was on the cover of what was it, MLB The Show? He was on that. He was on the cover of that. I forgot what year was that. 14, 15, one of those years.
I wish I could back you up. I have no clue.
Yeah, that's the only reason I remember, because when I first came to Pittsburgh and I was like doing all my research, that's what popped up, and I was like, well, dang, we got a dope baseball team, a dope hockey team, and we the Steelers. And in 14, that was the year I think they lost to the Giants in the wild card. And I was just like, well, dang, the Giants went on. I think they won it that year. So I'm like, well, you know what? This is dope, man. We got the city.
Yeah, we had 3 or 4 years of relevance. Man. Garrett Cole, AJ Burnett. We had a nice pitching staff. Had some nice players.
AJ, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And then it just changed drastically.
But dude, even getting rid of like Neil Walker, like he hasn't done anything since he's left the Pirates. Starling Marte's might be the only one that I can think of in terms of position players. The pitchers, we could have the best pitching lineup in the league if we would have kept some of these guys.
Now, the Dippin' Dots, though, he brings up the Pirates management still. He's still saying that he doesn't feel like anything's going to change until
that's what I'm worried about.
Management's changed.
The ownership, yeah.
But outside of ownership, they technically did change management. They did clean house.
But I didn't think Huntington was like bad in terms of like he brought in McCutchen. He got us those 3 or 4 winning seasons.
Yeah.
And ultimately we didn't keep these players or just try to stay relevant through this all. That's the frustrating part. Now, is it right or wrong? Because like I'm telling you, I don't know. Some of these dudes, it seems like we got rid of them at the right time. It's just to go from that to then just the worst team in the league.
That's what hurts.
It's really frustrating because we experienced that for 20 years. Like the worst consistently, laughing stocks.
Well, first off, Drew says McCutchen should have never cut his hair. He would have been dominant if he kept the long hair. I agree with that. But Mizzo Man brings up a good point here. Mizzo Man says, what do you think we would even get for trading Adam Frazier? Now, from the analysts that I've talked to, so from the analysts that I've talked to, I've seen them say that they're going to try to get 2 prospects, maybe one in the top 100, the other one be maybe a top 150 prospect. I've seen that. I've seen other where they're talking about trying to do a package like multi-team type trade thing as well. So, or excuse me, not multi-team trade, but multi like players involved in it, meaning, all right, this prospect plus this guy and that guy as well. Like, so that's the thing. But the big question is he worth 1 top 100 prospect or 2 top 100 prospects, or is it 2 top 150 prospects?
He's a hitting machine.
He is. I mean, he leads the MLB in batting percentage right now. I mean, like, and I think he has 5 going into the All-Star break. He was 5 hits above the next 2 guys that retired or whatever for just, and
I'm telling you, even some of his hits,
super consistent, man.
Yeah, even some of his hits, they're really good, and they'll just be out because he hits them right to the guy.
Yeah, he had a nice hit even in the All-Star game, man.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know how people value that because you want probably with some of your infielders, like the whole 5-tool type of players, dudes that could also bomb it. He's not going to bring that to you, but someone to just get on base, run the bases good.
Yeah, it keeps the offense flowing, man.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
Yeah.
He's going to get on base. So, yeah, he'd be a good leadoff hitter for a team in contention.
No, without a doubt, man. But I think as a whole, though, we like the direction right now. Is that what we're going with? We like the direction of the team, or we're still
Definitely,
waiting?
Because we have no other options.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned with all these dudes that we're talking about that we're so amped up about these prospects.
Yeah. I'm really hyped about the prospects, though, man.
If we can't keep them, what's the point? Yeah. The only thing is, if we do win a World Series, it's fine. Exactly. I don't care. You get like a 5 or 10 year forgiveness period of like, if we let you go, we won a World Series with this process. Right. If we don't, if we're relevant and we're winning games, then we ultimately lose you and go back to that's the frustrating part. We haven't had much hope in the past 30 years outside of those 3 or 4 McCutchen years.
Well, you know what they say.
What?
Trust the process. Hey, now.
We'll see.
We will see. But no, that was a good convo right there, man. We paid our due diligence.
Yeah.
We opted a little bit of Pirates action for y'all today, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Get the people what they want.